Hello, everyone. My name is Hakim, and I am your teacher for English 28110, writing in the disciplines. This is my first video, and I should have recorded this video earlier than that, and I will explain why I didn't record it. But let me first just share my screens because I want to show you the agenda for this video. So I definitely hope that you watch it in its entirety because this is our first video, and I wanna I would say establish some expectations. Most of them were already addressed in the video, but I also wanted to provide that visual presentation of them. So I thought I would make an agenda to show you at the beginning of the video so you can see where this video is starting and where it's going to end. I will also try to minimize to the best of my ability the length of the video. I'm not sure how long I will take to address these points, but we will see. So in this video, I want to do the following points, actually. First, I want to introduce myself to you. I also want to discuss the syllabus and the course philosophy. And I think this is very important. Especially because many of the students come to a writing class with some expectations, not expectation, with some negative feelings. I want to address those with you as I am reading the syllabus. Then I want to do a project overview. I want to take you through the projects, and there will be assignment sheets for each project, but I want to take you through the overview of them and also address why I constructed them this way. I want to take you through the tentative schedule to see like the routines of the course also in the tentative schedule. And I want to go with you through project one assignment sheet, which is due, I would say, this week, but with an ability of extension actually to next week, as we will see in the tentative schedule. And I want to end this video with reminders for next week. Okay, so let me stop the sharing so I can get back to the big screen, and I will share the other like the screen again when I want to share the syllabus to take you through it, or the tentative schedule, or the assignment sheet, and so on. All right, definitely this course, the modality of it as online, it's a privilege for me for many reasons, like providing flexibility and I would say avoiding many things that, for example, the heat wave that we are living nowadays, you don't have to come to class. Like actually yesterday, I was teaching a face-to-face class, and the classroom was like an off. However, the thing that I do not like about online class is that it deprives me from seeing you and interacting with you and really hearing your voice and feeling like I can feel your presence, which is something that, I appreciate as a teacher. But yes, I think I need to work in those two modalities. And I'm thankful that I have some classes that are not online. But also, even for this class, I will try my best to create an environment that is virtual, in which we have some kind of presence online. Yes, introduction. So my name is Hakim. I will say my name correctly in case anyone wants to say it as it is. So it is Ahmad. It's an Arabic name, and in Arabic we have some sounds that are not in English. So we have the sound ayn, and in English we do not have that. So we have to substitute it with the closest possible letter. So I go by EMED, and many people here call me Emad because they cannot say Imad, but there are other many people also who say Imad. I am a teacher of writing and English studies at Millikan University, and I am also a PhD student at Illinois State University and a teacher too. Here, I would say I teach as part of my we call it assistantship, like work for study kind of scholarship that we have. And before doing my PhD, I also did my master's degree at Illinois State University. And before that, I was teaching English as a foreign language in Egypt, where I was born. So I spent most of my life in Egypt, actually. I was born and raised there. I speak Arabic as my first language. And as I told you, I taught English as a foreign language there for 4 years before I come to the US to study and work too. Um, this is about me. Yeah, I was born in a rural area in Egypt called Fayoum, and yeah, we maybe there will be a chance for me in the future videos to tell you more about myself. Um, Let me go to the next point, which is the syllabus. So for this class, as an online class, the syllabus is very important. Like I cannot stress to you how much important the syllabus is at the tentative schedule because it's our main way of communication. Like sometimes the syllabus is also important in many other classes that are face-to-face, but sometimes there is a mistake in the syllabus. And my students will be like, okay, so we spot it together. However, in an online class, when there is a mistake or when there is lack of communication or when the students do not read the syllabus well, this can ruin the class because this is the only way of communication. So I already sent it to you and I asked you to actually write a discussion post that addresses some parts of the syllabus, but I still want to take you through some parts of it. Let me go to my browser. To go to Moodle first. I'm drinking coffee and it is kind of late at night, but I still, I took a nap though, so I think I'm fine. I can stay up for some time. Um, Sorry for the delay. I'm acting as if it's just a face-to-face class, not a recorded video. So yeah, if here is my browser, I'm gonna share my screen now. And this is our classroom. If you click on the syllabus, you go here, and this is a Google Doc. So the class English 281 writing in the discipline. It's asynchronous, online, no face-to-face meetings. It says date and time. Again, this is not correct. There's no date and time. So you see, I teach 5 classes a semester. So sometimes it because I teach at Millikan on Tuesday and Thursday, I mean the face-to-face classes. So sometimes you'll find some remainings that I could not pick up. So I will be amending them once I spot them. And I would also appreciate if you would help me do that. My office is in Shilling Hall, 434A. And my office hours are on Tuesdays from 12:30 to 2 p.m. or by appointment. So if this time does not suit you, just shoot me an email and we will arrange another time, maybe on Thursday, for example, in the same range of time, where if that suits you, or even actually any other day. We can also arrange a Zoom meeting, and I will be more flexible with that because I will not have to be present at Medicaid, but I can do it from anywhere. I can do it from my home or from my office at ISU, where I am now. Actually, I'm doing this. So course description. This course, writing in the discipline, requires the advanced study and practice of writing, emphasizing writing as a means of thinking, a form of inquiry and research, and a method of communication. And I want to stop here and tell you something about this, because this goes directly to our philosophy for this class. Many students come to the writing class, unfortunately, with a lot of negative feelings about writing. And I share these negative feelings with you, at least personally. I grew up in a learning space that made me hate language learning in general, and writing in particular. About language learning in general, I was telling my other students that I meet face to face about some parts of my life when I was young, when I was being hit with a stick if I do not remember the vocabulary. That's a kind of norm in Egypt, especially at the time when I was in elementary school. And I used to be very scared of that. And I used to be absent from school a lot, and that made me hate learning for a long time, until I was put in other learning experiences that helped me bit by bit change my perspective and actually decide to be a teacher. And that was a very conscious decision, because I found in teaching things that I actually I wanted to do with some students, the things that I wished it had been done with me, but it hadn't. So yes, I have a lot of negative feelings. Maybe I still have some of them towards some aspects of language learning. And considering writing, actually now, most of my life, I have been in writing classes that were very boring and were very limited in its outlook towards writing. Writing for those classes was an essay writing. Write a paragraph, and I had no reason to write but to just please my teacher, which is later when I started studying writing at ISU in particular, because I am very proud of Illinois State University's writing program and their approach. We call it the sociocultural, sociolinguistic approach, which is an approach to writing that I would say, focuses on connecting the teaching of writing to writing as it happens in the world. But for me, not being or being in a classroom that is very limited in its look towards writing, I also came with an idea that writing is a very boring activity, and that my job will not involve a lot of writing. I stayed like that for a long time. Although, I was a teacher, I used to write syllabus or syllabi. I used to write, or I still do that. Most of my life involves writing, but for some reason, and I think I know some of these reasons, my brain made the separation, a detachment between writing as an activity that I learn in school and writing as an activity that I do in my life. And in this class, we want to actually study writing, but not the essay kind of writing, and definitely not the writing that will be done only by a prescription, like giving you an assignment sheet with some instructions to follow. This is not what we are going to do in this class. What we are going to do is that we will study how writing happens in the world. And we will be involved in some projects, actually 3 projects, that will get us to experiment with writing from a different point of view. Um, I wanted, um, like also, sometimes I ask my students, unfortunately, I do not have this video as interactive to hear your answers, but I ask my students, what forms of writing do you expect to do when you become a professional, I mean, in your discipline? Um, and many of my students come to the class with the idea that my job will not involve a lot of writing. Like, for example, many students in marketing and in business, they think like, no, it's just emails, you know. But actually, when they go to the job market, they are like their job involves a lot of writing, but they do not consider this as writing because, for them sometimes, or for I hope I'm not generalizing because it is very dependent on your learning experience and what you get to see in your experience as a learner. But for many of the professionals, they think that the writing that happens for them as a profession is not writing. I wanted to show you one piece of writing that I I like to show to my students actually. This is an Amtrak passenger safety instruction. I did not steal it. I I I asked the permission of the conductor to take it, and this I took it, and I told him that I wanted to show it to my students, and the conductor generously. Um, when I look at this, I want to show you how it looks like. I want to make it closer to the camera. I'm not sure if you can capture or you can see like the different modes of communication that are made, or this I would say, what do we call it? This brochure of safety instruction is made of. So one of the most fascinating things that I found as I was looking at it is that it is not just alphabetical, it's not just text, it also has braille, um, braille writing. So yeah, I, as I told you, I'm from Egypt, so I have been to many places where like to find like an institutional culture. And I know that is different even here from one institution to the other. But an institutional culture that thinks of communication as a means to give access to people or to deny their access to some elements of life was fascinating. So when I think about this, and I was like, is this a document? Is this something that we can study in class? Is this writing? You know, and if I would answer that question, I would say it absolutely is. This is a very important document, and the writing of it takes a lot of skills. Not just to think about how it is done, but actually to to put it together, and to think about what goes behind this means of production. I actually had one of my students produce something like this at ISU. And in the production, we had to do a lot of research on how to translate something into Braille and also how to find a place where it prints into Braille. So I just wanted to make these explanations about our course philosophy, that we see writing as a means of communication and a means of social action, not just some instructions to follow to write an essay. Um, so based on this approach, um, we will be doing different projects to get us closer to uh, getting a picture of how writing happens in our own disciplines. Okay, um, let me um, go to the course to the project overview, so I can show you how the installment of those different projects help us or at least as I imagine them, help us reach those goals, or at least try to. Yes. So this is a syllabus again. And if we scroll down, uh, we will find the main projects. And let me read this part to you. So in this 15-week course, you will complete 3 major projects and a final portfolio. Each major project consists of several components. Therefore, it is necessary to pay close attention to the description and guidelines of each component. And in this syllabus, there is an overview description of each project. However, you will find the link to an assignment sheet for each project. And in the assignment sheet, you'll find the information for all the requirements of the project. So please read them carefully. And always check the course tentative schedule for details. So the first project is mini literacy autobiography. And if you don't know the meaning of literacy, literacy is defined at the dictionary of Merriam-Webster as the ability to read and write. So in this project, you will be writing your story with language. I wanted to dedicate the first project to you just writing your own narrative and your own feelings and your like the things that have shaped even those feelings. I would say it's kind of a reflection like the one that I made in this video earlier, but I would say in a more detailed for sure. I made it like I spoke for like 3 or 4 minutes. So, for example, I remember I said that I had some feelings and I also connected them with some of the events of my life that I believe have correlated with those feelings. So I also wanted to create that opportunity for you, and I look forward to seeing your stories with writing. And I know that I also, from my experience, many of the students already had very good stories with writing and good feelings and diary writing. And some of I think last semester I had a student who wrote a novel, and they were like their feelings towards writing were totally different from mine, or at least the way I grew up. And there is an assignment sheet that we will look at, but let me finish the project overview first. Project 2 is called Myth versus Reality Infographic. And this is 300 points out of 1,000. So 1,000 points is the whole course. And then I divide them to be out of 100. So in this project, it's about information, misinformation, and disinformation. This is the main learning outcome and evaluating sources of information. So let me read the project overview. Fake news and misinformation and disinformation have become a danger to every aspect of our lives. According to a new survey by Pew Research Center, most Americans suspect that made-up news is having an impact. About 2 in 3 U.S. adults say fabricated news stories cause a great deal of confusion about the basic facts of current issues and events. This is not just about news, and not only about the US, it's actually about all sources of information all over the world. We live in an age that is full of information and misinformation and disinformation. Therefore, in this project, we start by having an informed discussion about sources' credibility, bias, and evaluating information. Then you will create a multimodal myth versus reality infographic about a topic of your choosing. You will need to do a considerate amount of research into the topic before you make your own infographic. And also there is an assignment sheet here to look at. I am really passionate about this project because I think also it comes in a time where this country is having elections in November, and people go to vote. And I thought there is nothing that is more important in the process of voting than thinking about the reasons a person can vote for, the reasons a person can form their opinion, and the sources of their information, and their ability to assess sources for credibility, reliability, quality of information, and to spot misinformation and disinformation. So I wanted to us in this project to have that discussion and to create that infographic too. I think it will be a very good opportunity also to discuss some of the rhetorical features of thinking about writing in general. We will discuss elements like genres and rhetorical situations, and we will also be introduced into to a theory called the cultural historical activity theory, and that this is why the readings will be very important for us to consider these aspects too. The final project, or I would say project 3, I mean final big project, and then there will be another project as just the portfolio of the course. In this research project, you will conduct an ethnographic exploratory research on a discourse community of your choice. So it's called, I think I didn't read even the title, Investigating a Discourse Community. So discourse in this title means communication. And when we say a discourse community, it means a community of communication. So in this project, you will be investigating a community of communication that is related to your discipline. And I will be giving examples for sure. In this research project, you will conduct an ethnographic exploratory research on a discourse community of your choice. Choose a discourse community that is tied to your discipline, then conduct exploratory research to study communication within this discourse community. This will include investigation of the macro aspects of the discourse community, such as shared goals, beliefs, and mission, as well as micro aspects of communication, such as the genres and individuals that interplay in the community to achieve the larger shared goals. You will be collecting primary and secondary data for this project. An assignment sheet will be provided with more details. Every semester, I have students from different disciplines doing investigation into their disciplines. Last semester, many of my students who were in the nursing major, they went and they interviewed a nurse, and they took some writings, but from the health center, to analyze and think about how these elements of communication are first tied to the shared goal of the institution, and how they make the complex activity of providing healthcare happen smoothly and effectively. I think this is a very important project for you to go out and do research, but it's also an important project for me in the sense that it will, for example, if you in the future, beyond this class, if you ask me to write a recommendation letter for you for a job or an internship, this project gives me a lot of things to talk about you, so I can go back to your work, or you can even help me connect with what you did in this project in particular as research into your discipline, and I will have a lot to like of anecdotes and substance to say to whoever you are sending the letter of recommendation to. more than just like in a traditional writing classroom. I'll be like, he wrote essays effectively. I don't think that this will be the what they are even looking for, but this project will immerse you into the discipline and communication in this discipline. And this is a requirement in most of the jobs, actually. Sometimes it is even stated in the job ads. Like, for example, when I think about my job, as a teacher, and what it takes from communication skills and awareness about the syllabus and how to craft a syllabus and how to craft a tentative schedule that suit different classes with different modalities. This is definitely a very important skill to have in my job. But what about your jobs too? So this will be your investigation. And the final project is the final writing portfolio and presentation. At the end of the semester, you will revise and compile all the writing you have done in the class into a portfolio. Additionally, you will write a critical introduction to the portfolio that requires you to reflect on and analyze your experience with your major research project as it was taken up in various ways throughout the semester. This in-depth report will require you to explain in detail the rhetorical choices you made in developing and carrying out your research project and how those choices are influenced by disciplinary conventions. You will also discuss how you expect to take the knowledge you gained from this project and use it in future writing contexts within your major and future career. So this is a very important component of the class, actually, because no matter how many writings that you can do in this class, I cannot promise you that you will find them exactly as they are in the class as they are outside. But what I can promise you is that many of the skills that you will learn in this class and many of even the discussions that we will have will be relevant to other writing situations that you can utilize them. And this is why this project and this critical introduction that you will write will be important, is that you will reflect on how what you learned in this class can be taken up into different writing situations. So I think it's not a complicated project. You will get 3 of the writings that you have done in this class, put them together and write a critical introduction. And I will provide, this critical introduction is usually between 1 to 2 pages long. And I will provide examples of those two to help you see or have a sense of expectation on how that should look like. I think that this one was, I think this is also a mistake. This one is 100 points, but the discussion posts are actually 200 points. Discussion posts and replies. So as you can see, this is not just a writing, a class where you will write, but it's also a class where you will learn about writing and communication. So there will be materials to read and cover. There will be 2 movies that we will be watching for, like, as we are working on project 2. Unfortunately, you will not have the opportunity to, eat chips and popcorn, which I had when we watched one of the movies in class. We haven't watched them at ISU yet, but because I'm sorry, at Millikan yet, but ISU starts 1 week before Millikan. So this is why we watched one of the movies that you will watch this week, but because of the modality of the class, we were able to get together and watch it together, and I was able to bring my students some of the snacks as we are watching. So for when you are working on these sources, we also want to keep a level of communication and make that make Moodle a place for a lot of knowledge building. So after you cover the weekly readings, for each week, you will need to write a discussion post, 300 to 400 words on Moodle. Your post should include 4 sections. 1, a summary of your takeaway from and connections between the sources. Number 2, how you can relate to the content or personally. Number 3, evaluating the source's usefulness or lack thereof. And number 4, a question for me and your peers to answer. And then write at least 2 replies to any of your peers. And in your reply, you need to engage with what they wrote and with their question. Let's make the discussion forum as rich as it can be with our shared learning. Not only do we learn from the materials, but we also learn from our embodied experience, because we are talking about writing. It's something that we have been doing for many years, and human beings have been doing for thousands of years. So it's definitely, like, I'm saying this, and I believe it so much, it's what also we as individuals can bring to this classroom, not just the materials. That's what I wanted to say. This is the grade distribution. Yes, as I said, as I edited up there, we have here 100 points for the portfolio and 200 points for the reading discussion. So I was right. Yes, teacher's advice for success in this course. So I wrote, to help you with organizing tasks, I made a weekly deadline for all the weekly tasks. This deadline will always be on a Friday by 11:59 p.m. I hope this makes it easy for you to remember. So with like anything that you'll submit, it will be on Friday. The weekly tasks are written in some important order. Please do them in the order they are listed, except for when there is a large component which you have been working on for more than 1 week. Number 3, you need to make a plan for dividing the weekly tasks across the week. Do not wait until the last day of the week and expect to finish the tasks with good quality. Make a plan to give this class 6 to 9 hours of work per day. And I think this is very important to keep in mind when you are working on an online class, because like if we are meeting on like twice a week or 3 times a week, like it happens with many other classes, I will have the opportunity to divide the work for you. But if it's an online class and asynchronous, all I can do is to record a video and give you the tasks and try to establish some deadlines, reasonable deadlines, so I don't confuse you. And then there is a level of responsibility on you to sketch out those tasks throughout the week. What else? Maybe I want to talk about the use of AI and ChatGPT. So I wrote here, using ChatGPT is allowed only within an ethical manner. As a generative technology, you can ethically use ChatGPT for a variety of tasks. For example, you can use it to produce a first draft of a paper, keeping in mind that like all the potential risks of using AI and your responsibility for doing the necessary editing to the draft. Many people use it. Many people use it for doing searches on ideas and sources. I think this is also legitimate. Keep in mind that it is your responsibility to verify the authenticity and credibility of the sources. We will have a discussion on the use of AI in writing. This is one of my goals in this course, because I believe that AI is a new tool that we can use in many useful ways as writers, but we're still in the process of understanding its potentials and also its risks. Unethical use of AI can be explained, at least in my opinion, in any activity. My apologies, there are some messages popping up. Unethical use can be explained as any activity that involves lying. For example, one of the things is a reading post is supposed to be the result of your mental and emotional engagement with the sources. Using ChatGPT to produce a reading post is unethical and does not represent the goal of the activity. It will be treated the same as plagiarism. Using ChatGPT for producing a literacy autobiography or any personal reflection is also unethical. ChatGPT can never generate a text that represents your own experience. Please be mindful as you are using generative technology. So I just also wanted to say that. So I'm sorry if I took so long. I'm almost done. All I want to do now is to show you the tentative schedule and the assignment sheet. So if we go back again here to the syllabus, this is the syllabus. If yes, there is that sign of the finger. If you click on it, this is a tentative schedule. And in the tentative schedule, as you can see, there all the tasks are due by this date next to them. So for week 1, it's due by August the 30th, 2 days from now when I'm recording this video, but I already sent you an email about them earlier. And these are the tasks that you will be doing. Same with the other weeks. So yeah, your literacy autobiography is due not this Friday, but the coming Friday. So that's also good that you still have some time to work on that. Let me, I want to make sure. Yes, let me take you to this assignment sheet just to go through it with you. So as you can see, this assignment sheet is mini project of literacy autobiography. It asks you to think about your experience with reading and writing and language use. I wrote some helping questions. So for example, do you consider yourself a writer now or in the future, and why not? What do you think have shaped your relationship with and feelings towards writing? What kinds of writing do you prefer more than others, and why? What do you think makes a good writer? Like when you think about the word good writer, what makes a good writer for you? And do you think writing will be part of your future in any capacity? Why and why? I also wrote guidelines for your literacy autobiography. Make sure it follows a storytelling style. So it should not be Q&A. You should answer these questions, but not in a Q&A form. You must have a title for your literacy autobiography. Your autobiography should be made up of readable paragraphs, and each paragraph discusses a central idea or a topic. Typically, a readable paragraph is made up of 4 to 8 sentences. More than that becomes very hard to follow. You can also use subheadings to separate major areas or themes. There should be a logical transition between topics and paragraphs. So readability is a thing for your literacy autobiography. It's like I think also last semester I had that one of my students who submitted a one paragraph literacy autobiography that was 2 pages long. Who reads that? You know, like, so use those techniques of readability by making smaller paragraphs, good transitions, signposts, and transition words. You can even use headings, you know, if there are certain topics that you are covering, and make subheadings, bolded headings. I also wrote, you are encouraged to use, as I was saying, bolded headings on the left for organization, and you must write your name in class. And your paper, not StackCraft, your paper should be between 1,000 to 1,500. That's the length of your literature. This is the first mini project, and the due date is on the tentative schedule, as I said here. So if it is located here, then the due date is September the 6th by 11:50. Okay, so I also did not want to confuse you or confuse myself. I was afraid of writing the due dates in two different places or more than one place, and then I ruin things. Like I write a date on the assignment sheet that is different from the tentative schedule. So I decided to keep the dates only in one place, so it can be unifying for you and me and a place of reference for both of us. So if you want, for example, to know the next project, there will be a first draft of the infographic. This will be due here, that the due date is here on September the 27th, and so on and so on and so on. So this is the tentative schedule. I hope that it is as coherent as it is, and it's definitely not the full schedule. I'm working on the rest of it, and I will share this with you as soon as I complete it. That's it. That's it from me. Thank you so much. I hope this video helps. I feel free to watch it more than once and send me an email if you have any questions or if you think I made any mistake in the setup of the work or the hyperlinks, things like that. Please help me because, as I said, I'm doing a lot of, I'm juggling between my teaching and between my PhD work. And I'm teaching at Millikan and I'm teaching at ISU. So I hope that you can also, keep me updated whenever there is something that seems wrong or seems like that this language is for a face-to-face class. And this should not be ours, send me an email, let me know about that. And come and say hello in my office. I would love to see you. Probably I would not recognize you when I see your face, like when I meet you, but say, hey, I am in your online class, and just come around and say hello. I would love to meet you during my office hours. That's it. Have a good day.